sound good. Yeah, we're all set. Okay, we are primarily addressing the retailers anywhere in the globe. So we'll try to keep the conversation centered, on topics which sort of interest them and help them understand karma better and how they can align with karma, to sort of take advantage of all that you have built in the last 30 years. You are one of the unique founder led first generation manufacturers. How did you get here?
So I'm a doctor's son, and 1987, if you recollect, was the Mandal Commission year. And 11, 12, we were the affected batch. We did our HSC, but then our HSC marks didn't count for anything. We had to do the common medical entrance exam again. I got into Pune after giving the common medical entrance exam, but one of my best friends got admission. There used to be these lists, first list, second list. On the first list, he got in, and there used to be very intense ragging in those times, if you recollect. So there was intense ragging. Poor chap had a nervous breakdown, was admitted to hospital. On the second list, my name comes up. Tell my father I'm not going, and that's when I changed over to commerce. And
So
then
you got a cold feet.
I got cold feet, and I thought this is not my calling. Though being a gynac son and my brother and sister being doctors, grew up wanting to becoming a doctor.
Right.
But then I changed over to commerce and tried my hand at various things.
Right.
I was lucky in those times, and since I'm sure you know him too, Naveen Jashnani.
Right.
He used to teach at the GJPC, Mumbai Devi Gurukul
He's been very
Chambers.
academic.
Yeah, so he used to teach the diamond grading course at those times, and he said, "Why don't you come and join this class that we're doing on diamonds?" And for me, diamonds was like, I never heard of it or whatever.
It's like destiny calling.
Yeah, and I landed up doing that class.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Right.
And that's when the journey started. So
In those early years, what are the beliefs, that shaped your organization, your approach to work? And Kama has, been one of the early companies to have started working with the organized chains. I mean, today we have quote unquote the term organized chains, but back in the day they were just, startups. So how did it all pan out? And what were the learnings and how did it shape Karma as a company?
and now you have these startups, but I was a startup in those times, right? And we were up against, I guess, all kinds of competition, right? So I did not have capital. I didn't know the business that well, right? I didn't know diamond pricing, or I didn't know how jewelry manufacturing could be done, or how pricing was, what the terms of trade were, nor did I know any customer. So the only thing that I knew is that if I have to compete against everyone who's so established, I'll have to do something different.
Correct.
And that's been the mantra from day one, that to stand apart, we'll have to have unique designs. We'll have to focus more on quality. Our service will have to be, better than anybody out there. So those became the guiding philosophies or mantras or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And since they made us successful in the early years, we've only made those sharper as the years went along. So that's been our, I would say, key ingredient.
When I got into the industry, which was good 20 years back, the first thing I was told about Kama was that it is one of the most distinctive manufacturing companies because it's very professionally run. Tell me what earned you that position in the industry?
See, again, coming back to what I told you earlier is where we always try to do things differently. Everyone in Kama, the whole team at Kama is not from the industry. So all our 1200 people, they come from outside the industry, universities, colleges, NGOs that we work with. So we try and hire everyone who has no experience in the industry and then train them up or teach them jewelry just like I learned. Okay? We try to make sure that in 2 to 4 weeks they get up and running into doing the roles that they need to do.
Has that turned into an advantage of any sort?
To be honest, we've not done it as a strategy that, okay, if we do this, then maybe we get an advantage. But what has happened is that because we have so much different talent, We are multicultural in the true sense. We don't have one or two communities in the whole company. And that may have turned into an edge because we get so many fresh minds and thoughts every day. So it's become like a nice innovation culture because of the way we are.
I think you also took a stance of not giving any consignments. How did you choose to take that kind of a stance, especially when you were starting out and, you probably needed the business more than others?
So see, when I started off, and I guess maybe for the first couple of decades,
Yeah.
there wasn't much of a choice because I didn't have capital to even do the consignment, to invest in gold, diamonds, and then give consignment to customers. And that's one of the prime reasons we worked very hard on the product to manufacture product which a retailer also doesn't need on consignment because it's going to sell. Right. So we've always been in that mode where we're not making edgy, risky products. Right. So why would a customer also want that on consignment?
Right.
So I'm saying it's a combination of things that we manufacture products which turn very fast on the counter. Number two is that initially we didn't even have the capital to do consignment to begin with. So that became our USP, that if we can't do consignment, we don't have the capital, we might as well work hard as a company on making products which a customer doesn't need on consignment.
From an organizational standpoint, what are the high moments? What are those pivotal points when you felt that that is what the decisions you took or those moments got you here? So what are those?
See, I think keeping ourselves asset light over the years has really helped. So we've always been a company which has been averse or allergic to debt, right? So that I think has helped us in good stead.
What is the contribution you think Karma as a company has made to the industry?
See, it's not only Karma as a company, but a few of us, I would like to say, who've been here since the last 3 decades, is we've raised India's credibility on the global stage. So I would like to believe that Karma and some of us have changed that perception globally. That not only does India make, the world's best jewelry, but there's many of us now doing this.
But when it comes to India, right now, India is having a moment in the global stage. So what is the contribution you think Karma made to the Indian industry?
So in India, it's been the reverse, is bringing our 3 decades of experience of working with large department stores, chain stores, e-commerce players in the West to the Indian way of doing business. And I guess our customers in India really appreciate, the insights that they get on how retail is done globally and what best practices they can adapt from that for the Indian market.
Best use case of a retail partnership, how together you grew with the partner and the partner grew because you brought in something really innovative and fresh to the table.
See, generally, not only any one partner, but all our, I would say, top 20 customers, we always try to grow to them with something they don't have. Okay, that's always been our, again, mantra and strategy, that whenever we start with the company, and we were lucky in some sense in US and India, that in the last 2-3 decades, a lot of new, I would say, companies got born.
Correct.
Right? And those companies are today's, say, doyens of the trade, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Most of our customers are very long-standing relationships. So when we went to them, like some of the big names today, they weren't in diamond jewelry. And we were the first ones who started, say, diamond jewelry with them. Then some people were doing diamond jewelry, but they were, say, doing typical traditional South Indian close setting, but they didn't have the open setting, Western kind of product. So we were again part of that. We were one of the first PGI manufacturers where women only bought yellow.
Correct.
There was no white.
What gave
metal.
you the conviction back in the day in the 90s to get into platinum?
See, again, it's further to, because it fit into, say, the Karma way of thinking of always trying to be different. That firstly, it was a metal which is rare, pure, eternal.
Right.
It is a hard metal. And there was a certain premiumization to the metal globally.
Right.
Right? and it used to do very well in Japan. It was well established with brands in the US. So it had to be a matter of time before India also got into it. So that conviction was there, and because it's difficult to do, it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's why it's right up Kama's alley, because that's been our company's
That
DNA,
must have
right?
been really hard because we are talking about an era when even diamonds were difficult to sell.
Diamonds were difficult to sell. It was not even. It was less than 5% of
Correct.
the business. Not even 5. I
No,
think less
today
than.
we are
Yeah,
at 9 or 10.
So it used to be
So
like
maybe,
insignificant
yeah.
percentage. So
Yeah.
so everything was hard. Yeah, but then that's what
Yeah.
the challenge is. What drives us.
So Kama is known for fast-moving, design-led pieces,
Yeah.
and that has been, your strength since the very beginning. That is the category you picked
Yeah, yeah.
early in the day. Today, that category has become pivotal for every jeweler because there is this whole thing about, creating accessible ranges and acquiring customers, getting them young. And how do you see this category evolving today, and what has been your journey like over the last 3 decades?
So we've always been in $200 to $2,000. So we are not a manufacturer you come to if you want unique couture kind of pieces.
Right.
We are
The
somebody
high
you come
jewelry, as we
to
call
like,
it.
yeah. If you are looking for differentiated Western styling product, but which will turn fast on the counter.
When I look at retailers, everybody seems to be asking for designs which are high churn, low value. Do you get that sense and pulse from the market that
No,
you
we
have
get that
this-
pulse definitely, and in the last few years, as the markets are, I would say, evolving, especially post-pandemic,
Right.
we've seen a much faster, high double-digit rate of growth even at Kama.
Right.
And I guess the reason is that we're able to prove to our customers that it's not something we're just saying, but
Right.
it's backed with evidence and data as to why our jewelry is turning faster than others.
And I'm sure retailers see that happening.
Yeah,
on the
they see
shop
that
floor.
happening on the counter.
Tell
themselves.
us how many retail doors, how many designs per month, what are the numbers?
So we
like?
work with 200 customers globally. Collectively, they have around 12 to 15,000 doors. I mean, that's the amount of retail outlets that we reach to, and we produce 500 new designs every month.
And what does it take to cater to this scale of, businesses and that kind of churn, 500 new designs every month? What does it take?
So again, over the years, what we've done internally ourselves is, of course, there's been a lot of self-learning, but as a company, we believe in a little cocktail of Kaizen, Six Sigma, and the theory of constraints. So when you put all these three, we worked with several consultants over the years, and now what we have is a little mix of all these three philosophies to run our business at scale and with the efficiency that we're able to manage.
Would you like to throw a little light for retailers as to how these three philosophies, what are the core principles that have really brought in that efficiency and perfection?
See, the core principle is that you should not have waste in the organization. And now waste has a larger meaning than just the word waste. Any time, for example, we have these e-commerce programs where we are turning rings, earring pendants for exports and even domestically in 3 days, in 3 working days. Necklace bracelets we make in 5 days. The factory works in 2 shifts. So from order to dispatch is 3 to 5 days for customized jewelry. Now that's only because we are not even measuring the productivity or what the output is per department in days. It's more into hours and minutes. It's only then you're able to process so fast and at world class quality and with reliability.
Today, digital reach, creating a platform where they can connect with more customers is becoming like a pressing need for every business, to acquire new customers. And when you say that you have the, efficiency to churn out pieces in 3 days, that's a huge advantage.
Like you said correctly, and that's exactly where our USP comes as a company, is
Right.
that we give them an end-to-end solution where it's not only the piece of jewelry, but we also give them the CAD rendered images, 3 views, videos which they can put up on their website. We're also doing the product development and we're delivering to
Are
them
you
on
saying
time. So
I could open a e-commerce site with you as the back-end one-stop
yes,
solution
yeah.
for
That's what
everything?
we do for a lot of our customers. So what we've tried to do as a company is come to our customers with solutions.
Right.
So it's not only producing a piece of jewelry, diamond gold labor or just gold labor and what
I know. Yeah.
I mean, we don't generally work that way as a manufacturer. We try to be a vendor partner in the true sense,
Correct. Yeah.
where we're coming as a strategic vendor partner to your business
Yeah.
with an entire solution
Yeah.
and trying to solve what the retailer's pain points are. How does he run a business with minimal inventory? How does he run a business which has sellable designs? How does he ensure that he makes the margin that he needs to make?
Right.
How does he ensure that he has minimal or zero customer service issues?
Right.
And plus have something fresh on the counter to get those walk-ins in. So we're
Right.
trying to address all his pain points.
Catering to this category, which is fast-moving, what is the infrastructure you have?
We have 1,200 people overall. We have 100 people in product development, only product development. And more than just, I would say, the employee strength, we've invested heavily in the last couple of years in AI, in all kinds of new technology. We are able to mix and match tech in a nice way to make sellable products, but much lighter considering the price of metals today. Right? So those are a few things where we tend to sharpen the blade, I guess every month. I see a huge disruption happening over the next 2-3 years, and whichever manufacturer adapts to the changes happening will be on the right side 3 years down the line. So it's not only a combination of tech, you also will need AI, you will need to develop that talent in a house, and at Kama we are doing all that. So I would like to believe that we're not behind on the curve, but a little ahead.
Have you ever done market research to understand the speed of offtake of your designs versus other designs on the counter?
Most of the retail partners that we work with, we get weekly or monthly sales reports, and we have a analyst team which is constantly analyzing our data and benchmarking against what their norms are. Luckily for us, a lot of the companies that we work with are listed, so their inventory turns, their ROC, all their ratios are public domain, public knowledge, right? So we very easily benchmark what we are doing against their data, and we can proudly claim that we not only turn faster than what their average turns are, but even our rate of sludge is as good as zero. So we're very proud of that fact, and it's not by accident. It's because we put in all this effort into data. So everything we do is backed by data in Kama today.
People work with people, and for retailers who work with you and those who may want to work with you, who is Colin?
Colin is someone who has lived his life always believing, and since you know me since many years, that one man can make the difference. Gandhi ji said this, and I live by that I can make a difference to this jewelry industry. So I wasn't born as a jeweler, but after I developed a passion for jewelry, it's something which is now in my blood, and I would like to make a difference to everything that I do. So whether it was council, whether it is Kama, I'm always trying to make a difference to everything I do. So even if it's crafting a piece of jewelry and I see it on the floor, I'm trying to make it better. If it's bringing talent to this industry, I'm trying to bring better talent to this industry. Whether it's teamwork, whether it's innovation, we're trying to do that better than anybody out there. So that's always been something that I've lived by.
How do you see the future of natural diamonds, especially in the category that you deal in?
We were one of the first adopters of lab-grown diamonds. We started nearly 7 years back. Not when many weren't into it, right? So the industry evolved. Now what we are seeing is a maturing of the market. So I guess there's this value-conscious customer who doesn't really care about the ingredient, but is more worried about the price point And for him or her, it doesn't matter whether it's a natural, lab grown, gemstone, synthetic. So we are seeing very two clear demarcations happening. And so I guess as this market matures, we'll see natural maybe coming back in some sense 2, 3, 4 years down the line, where again I think there'll be more demand, less supply. And lab grown will have its own space where it will take that end of the market. So I think for jewelry manufacturers, and we are a jewelry manufacturer, so for us, we are agnostic. It doesn't really matter,
Correct.
whether. I think there's great opportunity for us now
At both
to
ends.
be in natural, in lab grown, in natural gemstones, in synthetics, and manufacture jewelry in platinum, gold, silver, titanium. So it's just made, say, our playbook a
Right.
larger market.
We have a population of 1.5 billion with a median age of 28. Most potential customers for the next decade. And then we are looking at a business structure which is guided by return per square feet. So there is a huge dichotomy. Do you see that it's going to be a big challenge for the category? Because we are still going to be under pressure to deliver the margins, but there is this customer segment which is asking for better designs at prices which are more affordable, more accessible.
In answer to your question, see, in the end, it's a huge industry. Okay, like we sell nearly 800 tons of gold. Diamond trade, diamond jewelry must be 80, 90,000 crores. Then you put in Polki and everything. So it's quite a massive
Correct.
industry,
Yeah.
right? But at the end of the day, okay, the aspiration of the business person, okay, especially in our sector, whether it is retail, whether it is B2B wholesale, is to get listing. For all the reasons you mentioned. Because raw material price has gone up, bank finance is difficult. So if you have to scale your business up, you have to go to the public markets. Now, public markets behave in a certain way. You have to grow your top line and you have to grow your bottom line. So in the end, every company which is in our industry will have to do what makes commercial sense to. And to make commercial sense, in the end, you will have to sell products where you're making that margin. You'll have to make a 30, 40, 50% gross margin just to run your store.
I'll rephrase. You will have to you will have to create a product which the customer is asking for, right?
Yes, what the
Yeah.
customer is asking for, but at the same time, ingredients in which you can make that margin. That the consumer, in answer to your question, will get. But everyone will have to manufacture what is commercially viable also,
Right.
right? And maybe the way the consumer gets it is not the typical traditional way. Just because it's not viable, it's a problem, right?
It is, yeah. It's a very unique problem, which is why you are seeing
Retail
all
space
kind of-
is going through the roof, and
But I think the bigger challenge every jeweler will begin to face, because right now there are many jewelers who are rejoicing the fact that our inventory value has gone up. Those who are not hedged.
Yeah.
But that is a very short-sighted view. End of the day, one has to look at how is it alienating the end customer and how can we disrupt to make the category more viable.
there is a consumer in India which is aspirational, which is changing very fast. So
Yeah.
if customer centricity is key,
Right.
retailers in some form will have to do what the customer wants.
Exactly.
But at the same, what I was trying to say earlier is that the way retail is done will change based on the products, because they will have to do what's commercially viable.
The next generation, right, is becoming instrumental in every business because the median age in India is so young.
Yeah.
So, what are your plans of passing the mantle?
So I'm lucky again that both my daughters have joined. They both graduated in US, Colombia. They both had, I guess, other chances of doing something else in life. They didn't have to come back to the family business, so as to say. And all these years we were not a family business, but now I'm very happy that
You have one.
of course my team has always been my family.
Yeah.
But now working with the two girls has its own, I guess, charm. So, they both bring in their fresh thinking. and somebody who can correct me 10 times a day
Yeah.
on all the things I'm doing maybe incorrectly, so it's been an interesting journey.
It's good that you have two daughters managing and taking the mantle forward, because it's nice to know that finally women are in the decision making chair, because most manufacturers I meet,
Yeah.
it's still the men who are trying to figure out jewelry.
So most of my senior leadership team are women.
That's good. That's really good,
So-
because that's free
So-
market intelligence.
Yeah, so-
Define karma in one line.
Karma in one line, we've always been customer centric, and
Yeah.
in that customer centricity, we would want to be, even in the future, a larger part of our partners for the simple reason that we increase their profitability. We bring to them collections which sell on their counter.
Yeah.
We make sure that those collections which are co-created
Yeah.
are unique, are profitable, and are something which a consumer would strive for season after season.
So one word would be you're the ideal profit building partner.
Profit building partner, I would say that.
You have held various leadership positions in councils, and of course you've run your own show for 30 years. Where is the industry headed in India?
So let's split this into two parts. One is, when we say India, it's the domestic Indian industry, and then it's exports out of India,
Right.
So when you look at it in two parts, India is at an interesting juncture where I would say our government in the last few years has become a little more enthusiastic about signing FTAs.
Right.
The key critical ones which our industry needs is the US and Europe
Right.
FTA.
Right.
And that would really take, I would say, the Indian gems and jewelry sector to the next level. So one is, we're very hopeful that those will get crystallized in the next 2-3 quarters. Second is, a long-standing demand of the industry is this SEZ reforms.
Right.
So if that happens, that will really help leapfrog to the next level.
Okay.
And third is our trade bodies, I would say, for lack of another word, is whether it's GJBC and this National Jewelry Council, GJC, I think all of them maybe can play a little stronger role in branding India. I think what we've maybe not done, or maybe we can do a much better job, is that why are we not the gems and jewelry capital of the world? Right? So when anyone in the world thinks gems and jewelry, they should be thinking India. I think the government with the trade bodies, or somehow we need to put India more on the map.
But
This
is
part,
that from a consumption standpoint or from a manufacturing standpoint?
I think it's a branding and consumption standpoint. See, first it's branding, right? And once the brand is created, consumption will follow. Because then you'll have maybe the whole world coming to India to buy their gems and jewelry. So it's FTAs, SEZ reforms, and branding India, which could be, there's several other points, but this would be something which can really help the India image globally. Coming to the future of industry, in India and generally, I would say manufacturing, retail, I think one huge disruption which has already come, our way, is this whole tech revolution which is happening not only on AI but robotics. So I think retail experience like it today, the consumer on how he or she is buying, manufacturing. I think in the next I would say 12 to 36 months, we're going to see huge changes coming much faster than maybe we think. And the way it's evolving so quickly on robotics and AI, so I think that will really change where, the things we discussed earlier, 2D sketches being converted into CAD, 3D printing at a very metal 3D printing at a very super duper cutting edge quality. So this will completely change how a consumer buys, how inventory needs to be kept, because you're going to see the whole timeline of manufacturing shrinking dramatically, right? So I think, and the way a consumer can also visualize.
In escalating inventory cost, do you see, and the tech playing out parallelly, do you see this merging somewhere and making
I think
customization a
huge,
good business model for
It'll
jewelers?
become massive. I think it'll become like the way to go in the next 1 to 3 years, because it's just because the tech is getting so much better in giving the whole consumer experience. Today also you have try on and all that, but it's at, say, it's not at the video level. Let's put it that way. It's not at the 3D level,
Right.
which will probably come Not probably, it's going to happen only, I guess, in the next few years. So this whole tech revolution is really going to disrupt, change things.
And that's already happening in the US quite a lot, right? Where customers
It's already happening.
are co-creating and,
All kinds of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Correct.
so I guess that's definitely coming to our shores in the very near future. So I think tech is definitely something which will change our industry. Another revolution or maybe change or whatever you want to call it, and you touched upon it briefly earlier, is all these alternate materials. Because price point is a price point. If consumer has 10,000 or 1 lakh to spend, they'll have 10,000 or 1 lakh to spend. Gold, the way we are seeing, it's only going to continue to go up. We are going to, not the day is not far when, maybe we're looking at $8,000-10,000 levels, right, from where
Correct.
it is today.
Right.
So if that happens and price points in India don't change, I think alternate materials will really get popular. So
Right.
I think silver will become much larger.
Correct.
Silver with vermeil, gold plating is going to get much larger.
Yeah.
Gemstones, synthetic, lab, natural also. I guess, now we are going to see a broadening of what sells as jewelry on the counter.
Correct.
So I would say these two are very clear, say, macro level
Shifts
trends,
which
shifts
will happen.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the Indian gems and jewelry market will become,
We-
will double from here
Retail
very
as
soon.
such, as an
Yeah.
industry, retail will explode.
Yeah, retail will
know,
explode.
And
Yeah.
how we take our share is
Yeah.
going to be important.
Yeah. So for all of us, it's good days ahead. We just have to adapt very quickly to all these changes.